Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP podcast. And in this episode, we're going to deep dive into a couple of really good movies, a graphic novel that is suggested by our friends. But before that, I'd like to introduce my co hosts and my bestest best friends, starting with the man with the pink headset, Chubax.
Hello, I'm Chubax. You can call me Chubax, Big Daddy, or just Daddy.
Or Chubax.
Or Chubax,
uh,
yeah.
it's part of the choices. And also one of our other bestest friends, RJ.
Hey guys, it's good to be here. Another week of our deep dive.
Yeah. A bit of housekeeping before we get into our topics. You can watch all of our episodes. This one where we deep dive movies, video games, TV shows, and graphic novels. That comes out every Tuesdays. We have our D&D podcast that comes out on Wednesdays, and we react to cool new shows and trailers every Thursday. Just search +63HP in YouTube, that search bar up top. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all of that fun stuff. We're also on Twitter at +63HP, and you can listen to us over your favorite podcasting applications all over the world. We prefer Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but whatever else, just search +63HP. Housekeeping done. This is our second run through a deep dive where we actually had assignments to watch and read and enjoy and regurgitate back our reviews for you guys' viewing and listening pleasure. This week, but before that, we're gonna do quick updates. I know we do our updates in our reacts episode, but it's been a week. Quick updates from your handsome host, Chubax. Any updates from the Chuidian household?
Oh, it's just Halloween today. The grandparents are here with the cousins and having fun. Tired.
Cool.
I drank soju. I drank one bottle of soju with Yakult in the lunchtime.
Yeah.
I was out like a light for the nap time. That's
Yeah,
it.
to Bacillus sure the strain. Jay, any updates from the Villanueva household?
Well, we're just cleaning up after some renovations done. So we did a couple of rooms in the house, starting to look more homey than before. So
Awesome. It was my birthday week. I was not. I thoroughly enjoyed. We'll get into it in our reviews and reaction or in our reacts episode. But it was fun. I was able to have dinner with some friends, introduce my office mates with some of my other friends. But we also had our office first time get together after the pandemic. So it's the first time I've seen each other in over 18 months. So that was fun. But work got into the actual enjoyment of the week. There was so much work that I was just so tired to enjoy all the fun stuff. But hopefully next week will be a little bit better. Awesome. Updates done. This week we
Go.
have three very amazing topics, all forms of media that we thoroughly recommend people enjoying themselves. So we're gonna start with Chubax's suggestion, and the shortest one among the three. We're gonna start with Berserk, the graphic novel by Keanu Reeves of Keanu Reeves or about Keanu Reeves, because apparently he's an immortal. Let's start with general reactions. Chubax, this was your suggestion. What is it about Berserk that you want everybody else to know about?
Oh, it's just I think it's one of the bigger new comic books coming out this year. Like it was a big hit for what it was. Keanu Reeves is involved, and they use his face in it, and yeah, that's about it for what
Is
it
this the
is.
is this the first time like a celebrity used his likeness or his or her likeness for a particular comic book?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it probably happened sometime, but nothing that pops up
Mhm.
to mind. Nothing this big. Nothing this
Yeah.
popular.
This Yeah, this is the most popular, definitely the most popular one that it's not only written by, but also essentially represented by the writer and celebrity. RJ, what you think about Berserk?
It's extremely bloody, so if you enjoy gore, uh, jaw ripping, face slashing, eyeball popping action, I think Berserker's that literary piece for you. But I still feel like the first 5 seasons, I'm still
For
getting the bearing of
Chapters,
uh,
right?
sorry, first
issues,
five
issues, issues.
issues rather. First 5 issues, it's still building the story, and I'm
Mhm.
excited to know more. Hopefully, they release the rest soon.
Yeah, it's a good read. It's a light read. Like I was
Mm.
telling RJ in the pre-show that this is the shortest assignment among all of these, and this is the one that I wasn't able to finish. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, I got my copy, my paperback volume one because it was part of Chubax's birthday gift, so I really really enjoyed that. Uh, the art is good, right? It is one of those, again, not to steal how RJ described it, but it's reminiscent of kind of like a Dark Knight, Dark Miller, slightly,
Mm.
not too realistic, but also not too cartoony, a little chunky, a little bit gory. So that's cool. The story in itself is it's weird because nowadays I enjoy stories that are a lot more straightforward. So this is like a dude that can't die,
It's pretty
trying to
straightforward.
yeah, trying to figure out why he can't die, trying to gain mortality. So and but the small twist, and we've seen this in a few times, like, but the small twist is he's working with the government to do so, like for centuries. So that was a fun thing. I mean, like, oh, you're with a big entity rather than against what. So that was very refreshing. But also, it's fucking Keanu Reeves. Anything that Keanu Reeves does or touches, I'll watch. So
Agree.
and read. So this was great.
Yeah,
I
for
think,
me, it was
yeah.
I really liked it because especially the first page itself, where they took it from Keanu Reeves' life.
Yeah,
It's just like it's
memes. Yeah, like
yeah the
actual
me
memes.
yeah it's so awesome, and yeah, it's that's my only complaint. It's just it's too short. It's just 4 or 5 issues, and we're
Mhm.
still just touching the story. But it has shades of Wolverine. Like
Mm-hmm.
just healing through damage, and then just trying to remember one specific part so that he can gain mortality. I like the small distinctions, like you said, like he's working with the government forever. He doesn't care
Mhm.
about you make your own clones. Fuck me, I
Mhm.
don't care. But I just want to find a way to die. I don't want to die now. I like that.
Mhm.
I just
Just
want to
But I
find.
and
want
the
to gain
option to
mortality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I just want to find a way to
option to
die.
yeah
I like the
yeah
lightning sex was good. Was surprising. It was
the
literally God.
yeah uh,
Yeah.
you got
God fucked.
essentially the tribe leader and the tribe leader's wife, and the wife wanted so the premise, a bit of a spoiler,
Yeah.
but you know Keanu Reeves can't die. Does he have? I don't even know if he has a name. He doesn't have a name, right?
Yes. Well, he's called something. He's called
Yeah, yeah,
Unbutu. Yeah.
but that was like a
Untu.
tool and a weapon, right? That
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. But like Keanu Reeves's character can't die. It's one of those, it's present day flashing back to his origins, bless you. um
Bless you.
and the origin was when 8,000 years ago, this tribe was being ransacked by neighboring tribes all the time, so they asked for a weapon or some help from the gods, and what the gods did was essentially bang the tribes tribal
The
tribal
mom.
head's wife, and then the baby that popped out is Keanu Reeves, which has uh super healing factor, can't die, but
Mm-hmm.
also has this trance where he goes berserk, hence the name Berserk, and just kills everything in sight. Um, but yeah, it's essentially so the tribal head was cuckolded by a lightning that banged the wife. So that's pretty cool. So
Another
um,
thing to note, since we mentioned the spoiler alert, is that it only took him 2 moons to actually be born.
mhm.
So, from a medical perspective, I'm no doctor, but imagine how much change in 2 days for his
Or months,
mom.
2 months.
2 months.
2 months, was it 2 months?
Yeah,
Okay, two
yeah,
months. Yeah, but still, that's still a drastic
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
adaptation to your body to suddenly grow a belly, have a child, and in 2 months' time, it's out. And I think he grew in like a couple of years.
Yeah, a
So
couple
he
seasons.
basically couple of seasons. So he basically became an adult in a blink of an eye. And ever since as a kid, he was used for violence all throughout.
Yeah. It's
So
again, it's a unique take in terms of they're not harping too much on the government aspect of it. Chubax has mentioned like
mm,
Keanu Reeves. Excuse me, Keanu Reeves doesn't care. Make clones, grow my organs, whatever that you need. Just give me my mortality, which it's a refreshing take because for the most part people would be very very afraid to be, or most of the TV shows and movies that we've seen that deals with something supernatural or extra natural like a healing factor like this is always they're so scared to be experimented on. And this is one of the first things, one of the first times that I saw like on a more practical sense you would want experts to give you answers. So that's nice. I was actually when I read it's like, oh, huh, I thought maybe the past 5 6 years is like got tired in 2021 2022 and then went to the government. But no, he's been having therapy for thousands of years.
mm.
He's being experimented
I
on
remember that.
thousands of years. It's he has some quips about how far things have gone from like hundreds years ago where before they'll need to like chop off his entire face or something to like gain diagnostic on what had happened. Now it's real time. So like he has like electrodes and nodes checking his pulse and body chemistry almost real time. So that's super cool. um Anything else about Berserk?
For me, I just can't wait for the next. We'll just revisit it when it comes out again.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was
Go.
more like
Mm,
healing factor. I felt was more like Deadpool than Logan.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at one part he was totally decimated, pulled apart, crushed. Even his teeth were all pulled out. So what was left was a mass, like a puddle of flesh. And then suddenly from this like egg, flesh
He-
egg,
there was a cocoon, like it became a cocoon, and
yeah,
then
he
it came back.
bursts out and he's back. Skinless, but skinless like and red as
And I
tocino.
love that shot where he was like, when he realized he couldn't die, that he laughed and then he cried. Like,
Yeah,
so fucked up.
Mm.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it's he at
uh
that point. That's why he died, was because he just gave up on life.
Yeah,
But
he can't even die.
even there, he
yeah,
can't even die. That sucks so much.
that's true. I mean, that's the the themes about these types of comics or these types of stories is it's always it's one side where you have too little time and there's another side when you have too much time and what you do with it. And then
Mm.
this one is yeah, I mean, being a weapon, if you can't die it could be a very very strong weapon. Last bit of trivia with Berserker is my friend actually is in an editor for one of the
Oh.
bigger sci-fi and fantasy publishers here in New York.
Mhm.
And he pitched, so a big thing was the manuscript for Berserker. It goes around like, well, before this was made, there was going to be like, you want to get funded for art and
Mm.
distribution, yada, yada, yada. So a lot of people really wanted to, um, make blow this up to a bigger franchise. So point is like, even with the very very few comics that we have with Berserker, even media experts know that this can be a big franchise. So we could definitely expect like this will have novels offshoots because that was kind of his deal. Like he pitched to Keanu Reeves like what he would want it to be as a novel series. Like, is it going to be a 2, 3, 4, 5 book series, and who's going to write it with him? Yada yada yada. So, if you can extrapolate from that, if big publishers are trying to make this into books, we could safely assume that this will be an either Netflix series or
It
movie
has
sometime
already
soon.
Netflix has secured the
There you
rights to
go.
Berserker.
There you go. Yeah.
Reeves will
Yeah.
produce and star in the screen adaptation, which will start with the story getting the feature treatment, followed by an anime spin-off series. I'm all in, baby.
What?
So I see as this is the difference in media now is like you really can't do just one thing. You do one like even our fucking tiny little ass channel. We have a YouTube channel and we have podcasts and we tweet because we can't just like do one. So this is actually good because the ones that aren't into graphic novels or comics can enjoy a Netflix show and hopefully multiple anime spin-offs like what you mentioned. So very excited. Berserk,
Oh yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Um, are we done? Shall we move to our next topic?
Yes. Let's
Yes,
go.
we shall.
So before we dive into our main deep dive topic, we wanted to put in something that everybody has been watching in some way, shape, or form in the past couple of months, and it is beloved by many. Multi Emmy award winning show, Ted Lasso. And in this next bit, we're going to concentrate a little bit on season two. We've discussed season one in past episodes. Check those out if you have not listened to that yet. But Ted Lasso is essentially definitely one of my most favorite things. I don't even, not just a show, it's like things in general that I've ever encountered in my entire life. So, and against all odds, as good as season one was, I thought that season two was a lot better than season one, but it took a while for me to get there. I thought it was experimenting too much, but once I watched it a few more times and watched the entire season earnest, I figured like, this is a lot more deep and complex, but also
Mhm.
packaged in a very simple way than the other ones. But before I get into that, let's go with you, RJ. What do you think about what did you think about Ted Lasso season two, and possibly like favorite moments, least favorite moments?
Well, I think before I move into season two, I'll do a quick run through of season one, wherein
Mhm,
I think season one was more of the story build up on Ted Lasso. So there were a lot of stories about him per se.
mhm,
It's more
mhm,
about him as a coach, his capabilities, how people like him, how people hate him. Now on season two, it's more about the team, which I actually
mhm,
enjoyed. So there are a lot of focus given to each individual players, even with the coaching staff as well. So I think season two was more well rounded, in my opinion. My favorite episode, you can call me cheesy. I'll have to run it into two. Number one was the Christmas episode. I thought it was
Carol of the
very,
Bells.
yeah, I thought it was very,
Mhm,
Carol of the Bells was very heartwarming. It was a good Christmas episode, and it's something worth watching this coming Christmas.
mhm.
And the second one that I enjoyed was Beard After Hours. The focus now on
Ah,
Coach Beard. I really
Jong
love that
interesting.
one.
Jong hates that.
I loved it
Interesting.
because there was so much shit that happened to him from
Yeah.
start till end. Ending up in those horrible flashy pants in the end. It's just like how making one wrong decision basically messes up everything else, but then it kind of leads you back to where you're supposed to be in the first place. That's what I liked about that. It was just you don't get so much airtime for Coach Beard, and I
Mhm.
think this was really well deserved for him. How
Yeah.
about you, Chubax? What did you like about
Oh,
um,
well, for
Ted Lasso
me,
season two?
I agree with Jong that I love season two more. But from what,
Mm,
because from my analysis, it's just more like no matter how good your writing staff is, for the first season, everybody has to start out as a caricature of a character, like a stereotype.
Mhm.
There's no there's no way out of that because it's your first episode, first few episodes. So you have to start from there, and then that's when you grow
mm,
and make everybody complete. So when season two
true.
comes, now everybody's more time, more of a real person than just a character. And I like that also in season two, there was no more the typical Rebecca was being the
Mhm.
the kind of villain to Ted. So they're all together
Oh, that's
and
true.
they're just fighting life. I still hate Rupert. He's still an ass. But aside from that, my favorite episodes would be same with the Christmas episode. But my other favorite one is Rainbow. I just love that. I'm a rom com. I love rom
Mhm.
coms. So everything about Rainbow was perfect for me from Roy's speech in the park. Yeah. So
Mhm.
forget about your fucking feelings and have some fucking fun. Too many fucks. And Ted going with the you complete our team. I'm just a coach standing in front of another coach
Yes,
asking him.
asking you.
Uh, I'm definitely gonna watch that episode again.
And the
Oh.
ending was great with Roy, leaving the pitch like we don't fucking know anything. We just judge them.
That's right.
And I love the small lines where he gets up and then I think that's a famous announcer, right? In
Yeah.
England.
Most
Yes.
of them are like
And he's like
are either former players and actual
he's
announcers.
like the main guys are like, Roy. It's like, I have to go. And he just gives a nod. And then he goes and he wastes so much money and then the watch just to get to Nelson Road and like and then, yeah, it's just fun. I'm for the beard episode. I'm still torn. I kind of like a lot of the scenes in it. I like, but the overall arc where he still ends up with Jane was like
Yeah, well,
nothing changed for him. He just went in
that's
a
true.
circle. But I
Mhm.
like I like the fact that he had fun with the three guys. I love the
Yeah.
fact that he
Yes.
sent them to the field. Like, where is he sending us? And like, it's the
It's like a
football field.
cave.
I know. Like, Coach Beard sent us. Like, fuck. I just Beard is just awesome. He knows so much shit.
Mhm.
It's like he's essentially like Ted's other side of the coin because Ted can't
Mhm.
be
Mm,
Ted can't be Ted without Beard Beard being Beard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's
'Cause,
right.
They're foils to each other. One speaks too much, one speaks too little. Right? It's
no,
great.
not
It's
even
perfect
That's
that. Just
right.
balance.
just the knowledge too, because
Mhm.
um, he has the heart. Ted has the heart. And he has the wisdom, but Beard has the knowledge. So one without the other, it's not gonna work. Like if you're just all heart, but you don't know shit. Nobody's gonna listen to you.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the other one is the same. If you have all the knowledge, but you don't know have the heart, then you're also not a good guy. So yeah, I love it. I wasn't a fan of the Sam and Rebecca at first, but it grew on
Oh,
me.
interesting. Yeah.
No, it was just weird. Like I didn't know if I saw chemistry there, but there was. So
Mm.
I liked it, and I also loved the funeral episode. It was just
Yep.
that was just so complete to
Oh.
like
They
like
were just laughing their hearts out, and
and the
the
and the
priest
priest
was
kept
like,
coming in and it's
The
like
priest
keep
coming
quiet,
inside.
keep
It's like,
quiet.
why are
But
you guys laughing at
they
a funeral?
they nailed
exactly.
the heart to heart talk so much. The scene where Rebecca was being honest to his mom or to her mom
Mhm.
about I hate that, and I hate you too,
Oh, I love the line
right?
there.
Yeah, and all the
When the
other
mom
characters
let
like
let the
yeah
dad do
treat
stuff.
him treat her like that,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah. No, I think
Sassy.
one of the memorable lines I like from that particular discussion was that I'll take your hate over your
Their
indifference
indifference.
any day.
Yep. Hmm.
Oh, that kind of hit me hard. I was like,
Yeah.
And if you think about it,
damn.
it's true because you can easily
Yeah.
because hate usually comes from love, so you can switch it with some work,
Mm-hmm.
there's a
Yeah,
way to switch hate. If it's
Mm-hmm.
indifferent, it's gonna be harder to get somebody to fall back in love with you if it's indifferent. Hate, you
Mm.
can still find a way.
They hate because they care. They have something that they
Yeah,
cared about that lost. Yeah.
but yeah, there's so much good scenes, especially with the team like Isaac with the haircut. I'm gonna spend my
Oh my
haircut.
god.
You just
Oh,
got
that
one.
Oh
haircut
my
was
god.
I'm
You
saving
got
one for
one.
one per
for
year.
my marriage. So like, and then the funeral again with the it's a funeral, boys. So uh we have to wear
Wear
shirts, wear
black
shirt,
blacks.
yeah,
You
Wear
gotta
suit.
wear leather
suit,
shoes.
and no trainers. What if it's very tasteful easy? What color?
And then
Bright
he had to
red.
think about it.
Right?
Nah.
What the fuck?
Oh.
It's just so much fun. And then
Oh, and then what's the name
Danny
of the
Rojas just dying with
yeah, Danny
the
Rojas.
shoes, never
Can't
having
can't
worn
has
good
never
shoes.
worn. Also an allusion on how women wear stilettos and guys wearing hard shoes. So it's a nice touch to different themes. See, so that's the thing with this show is it's so simple, but it still subverts your expectations in every episode, in almost every scene. Like um the one of my main issues, coming from season one is that in season one, like you guys mentioned, there's a central focus. There's like a main good guy. There's a main bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But what they want to do is make sure that you still love the bad guy and you still provide flaws with the good guy, just to show that everybody is kind of equal. Because that's what Ted Lasso is. Like we just care and love for everybody because everybody's going through something, and
Mm.
even Jason Sudeikis and the writing staff has mentioned that the their formula is simple. They're gonna introduce people. You're not gonna like them, but at the end of the episode or the season, you're gonna love them for every single character that you provide, and that's a great microcosm for life. Like if you just are curious and not judgmental, which is from season one,
Well said.
um, you will find something, or you will learn something from someone that will kind of enrich you or understand where they're coming from. There's so many threads in season two, and I'll try to run down a few things there. So uh there's the continuation of how awesome Roy Kent and Keely's relationship has been. Like it's subverting of expectation, how this hard ass dude that says fuck every other word is actually the most compassionate and loving person. It's vocabulary doesn't show your care. There's Keely too, who has been developing as her own person, as her
It's
own
also amazing.
businesswoman, right?
Yeah,
you know
Keely's a
she
good
might be
character.
she might sound ditzy, she might sound dumb, but she actually not only provided, nobody speaks about that a lot in the episodes, but one of the main episodes in last season was when Sam, the star player from Nigeria, right?
Mhm.
He protested against their main sponsor, the Dubai Air, because Dubai Air is owned by a CEO that what caused an oil spill in their area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody kind of gives Keely props that Banter, that dating app, was their main sponsor for the rest of the year, and it was just there. So that was
I
her
know.
doing. That
I was
was
waiting for a mention about it, but there was nothing.
Yeah, because the idea is like, again, a lot of awesome things that we all do go unnoticed, much like Keely, and then her growth as well as a person. Her developing friendship with Rebecca, the owner of the team, is great, and we've discussed this a couple of episodes back, where most shows, most movies, they always want to pit the women against each other, and here not only are the women killing it, actually doing way better than any of the men in that, way better than Ted, way better than every single man in the series. Rebecca is, rocking the team,
He's such a
right?
badass.
Mhm.
She has developed a great cast of employees. Her best friend, and she employed her best friend that is also killing it, and
And
she's
as
the
Keely said,
mentor.
she's mad fit. God,
She's mad fit.
Mad
She's
fit.
gorgeous.
God,
She's banging a lot of people
look.
in the first part of the season, and she also found like a true connection through the dating app Banter, because Banter is just talk, right? And I
Mm.
found she fucking crushed the entire season. Yeah, her dad died, but she never really loved her dad, right? So it's like, if you can look at it, like the two women are the ones that had the least drama because they're just growing, and the dudes are the ones that have drama, right? Ted's anxiety, which another through line. Uh, Roy's also somewhat like, she's so
Adjusting.
sad. Adjusting to the fact that he has feelings, you know. So he didn't want to, but now he has feelings, and he's feeling the good things and the bad things about having feelings. Even Jamie Tart maturing and growing up, owning up for
He
his
did.
mistakes,
Yeah.
still making mistakes, like still saying "I
I
love you" to
know.
Keely,
So good. It's so good.
right? But apologized and owned up to it, which Roy was very upset about because he wanted to punch Jamie Tart, but he apologized properly. And of
Mm.
course, like I'll end with the most
Controversial.
surprisingly controversial, different, unique, but also simple arc of Nate. Nate, the season one's fucking kit manager, water boy, ball boy, equipment manager, getting to be an assistant coach, getting to write the schemes that will make them win and eventually get them to back from relegation, getting promoted back to the big leagues.
Correct.
That Nate kissing Keely, that Nate wearing suits,
Going
that
behind
Nate
snitching.
leaking,
Snitching on Ted.
yeah, being the rat or being the snitch to blow the horn on Ted's disappearance in one of the games due to his a panic attack, and eventually, spoiler alert if you've not seen it, but eventually becoming next season's big bad. Joining forces with Rebecca's ex husband.
Was he the head
To
coach? He is, huh? Is he the head coach?
He is the head
He
coach
seems
of
to be the head coach.
Mhm,
Yes. Of
right.
whatever
So
team. What team was that?
it's the
Rupert's.
ex yeah, Rupert's new team. I forget the team, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
the idea there is like the two seemingly smaller cast members, Nate and Keely, are the ones that kind of were on the same path. They had both amazing mentors. They had both
Hmm.
amazing success. They both
That's
have
true.
amazing growth. One had both the confidence in themselves and support to continue on developing and growing in a positive way. One did not have the same support and confidence in themselves, and made them
Well,
resent the fact that
he kind of had the
they did.
support, but he just. It's a whole big discussion
He
with
again,
Nate.
he was not. He was The thing is, like, he interpreted it. He interpreted it as no support, little support,
Yes, there.
or
That's more
throwing under the
accurate, I
bus,
think.
aside from confidence that you can make this work, right? Because
But
sometimes if I
I'm
go,
sorry, but I don't see where Ted lacked support. Is it because he got Roy Kemp
No, it's not
as
that he
a
didn't.
no,
coach?
As Jong said, it's not that he didn't lack support. It's more that Nate saw it like that.
mhm,
That's how it
Yeah,
came to
yeah, I
be.
know. That's what I was trying to figure
Yeah.
out from his
No.
perspective.
From Nate, it's like you're heartbroken to see it happen, but they've had the seeds of it since season one,
mhm,
and
mhm.
it's like
Hmm.
uh don't want to be personal and bring something up, Jong, but it's like you when you were before when you overcompensated after during
Of
college
course.
with your
Mm.
your fun
Having
fun
fun.
fun years, yeah. So
Mhm,
that was Nate. He was like he was down, he was bullied and everything. So he was wounded, he was scarred, he was so when he got that
Damaged
chance, yeah, he was damaged.
damaged goods.
So when he got that
Hmm.
chance, he didn't heal properly because
mhm.
even through season one, he always had that snark, that
Hmm.
that bite immediately, even though it's not undeserved. So when he got that, you know,
That's
more
true.
power, more strength, it's false confidence. He keeps spitting on himself because he doesn't like what he's turning to, but he feels that he needs to become that to get what he needs.
To gain respect, to get
Yeah.
what he wants, because
Yeah.
he's tired of always being
Can you
walked
imagine?
over.
Like, it's only his second year with Ted, and he's already feeling that he already thinks that Ted stealing
He's
the
better.
spotlight from him.
Mhm.
But what did that do for him? From a kid man to
If it weren't,
to,
yeah,
it's
for
so
Ted,
far.
he'd
I
still be
mean, it
fucking
was that fast a
fixing
change.
Gatorade.
That
Yeah.
fast a change, and he's already turning on
Yeah.
him, and he's just damaged, and he doesn't.
I guess
I can't wait to
greedy
see
for
him.
power, right?
It
No,
can be
it's
greed for
because
power. It
he was
can be
damaged,
selfishness.
and then he has
Yeah.
a chance, so he's overcompensating, trying to get what everything that he can, because he was deprived of it before. But now he's
And
going
the,
everything he can do to get it, and the only way
yeah,
he knows how is how he's doing it. And
Yeah.
every support and anything, he's thinking of it as an attack on
and
him.
that's the difference because like in Keely's point, like all the challenges that goes her way is her opportunity to shine, and to the fact that the idea is like she was more she was scared too. Like I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's the entire season. Like she was scared now that hey, there's this main arc of her interview with the magazine, and that's what she was the most scared of. It wasn't about the feature, it wasn't about that, because this time they're gonna see the real me. And there's no it's no makeup, it's not her looks, it's not her anything, it's about her and her PR business. And she was scared, but for her, she was there, and she was happy to have Roy by her side. All right, she was happy to have Rebecca as a mentor or somebody to ask. While on Nate's end, pretty much the same. Like he was an assistant coach when Ted asks for things that needs to be done for offense. Right, we're gonna follow what Nate wants. But instead of Nate looking at it as all right, Ted trusts me so much that I can run this. It's like, oh, you're giving me this because if we
So you
lose,
can blame me.
I will be the
Uh,
scapegoat. And that's just somebody that has not a lot of confidence, or has confidence now but never had enough experience about of confidence, because it's that's not the type of confidence that you would want in the team to retaliate. I mean, why would you use your confidence to retaliate against the people that is trying to help you? Use your confidence to like, hey, fuck it, if I make a mistake, I got it. But he never had that. He was a fucking boy. He was a water boy.
bullied.
And
Whatever.
he was again, he was thrust into this spotlight. Sometimes pressure makes diamonds. Sometimes pressure makes you fart, and that's what happened with Nate. and
That's what
and
happened with
that's
Nate.
the great thing about the show too, is it subverts your expectation, because we would have expected 8 out of 10 times it was Keely who's gonna fuck something up throughout the season. He was gonna betray Roy, or fuck up her business, or fuck up Rebecca, her mentor, because like we were conditioned that it was the snarky girl, the pretty girl that will do the bad thing for a TV show. But in this show, it was Nate, little old Nate, the nicest dude in season 1, is
Yeah,
the one that's
the
causing so much trouble that is seemingly out of nowhere, but it's not out of nowhere. It's what he is experiencing, and that's the beauty of the show, because this is just one of the many many things that kind of subvert your expectations. Like even Sam, the very young player in the team, falling in love with the owner of the fucking team,
with the owner of
Rebecca.
the team. That's true.
For the most part, you wouldn't root for that. But like with Chubax, you see them together a little bit, it was like, oh, you're kind of rooting for it, right?
Yeah.
Even the very, very snarky psychologist, right? Dr.
Yeah.
Sharon.
I did
Yeah.
feel her
You
at first
kind of
too.
hate.
I was like with Ted. Why is she so mean to Ted? But yeah, she needed
Again,
to poke him with the stick so he can finally open
she
up.
was doing her job. She was good at her job. That was her process. And Ted, his process in engaging is not the professional kind. He's the part. So there's so many. Every character has this subversive thing that might require just a little bit more attention, because in the end, on the surface level, it's just fun. Good lines, good acting, funny jokes, right? Pretty people, like. But if you really like chew on it a little bit, understand every single character. I mean, even down to I think the symbolism of their Dutch player that can't line super straight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
there is Danny Rojas, who, they dinged a little bit because he's the football is life, super positive kind of guy. Episode
Killing
one,
the dog.
killing fucking the dog, right? So you take that positive dude down a giant notch from football of life to football is death. Look,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
180 turn is just it for us. It's like, yeah, just flip it, simple. No, it's genius, because you have even the most positive person have some issues with the thing that he loves, even if it's not his fault. That's just life. You get dealt with a few things like that, and then you have this Dutch guy that's just like in your face about it, very clean and clear and very
You see that
straight.
you see that with Ted also, because you'd think that Ted is the type of guy that would be the last guy who have anxiety issues
Mm-hmm.
or panic issues, but they layer that very well too. Like his
Mm-hmm.
dad killing himself. It's so
Yeah.
very well written. So
Yeah.
so good.
Well, there's
Oh,
I know
my
we
my take
discussed.
for
Oh,
season 3 is
mm,
you'll see what if Beard was a coach without Ted. That's what Nate's gonna be. He has the knowledge, but he doesn't have the heart. Right? So we'll see
ooh,
how let's see how he makes it,
ooh.
because he's not about the people. What Ted said, I don't care about wins or losses.
Mhm.
It's about the people. How would it feel if what did he tell Trent, like, I know, growing up without somebody believing in you. So I'm
Mhm.
so excited to see how Nate's gonna do in because he knowledge wise he's always been ready to be a coach. It's just he
Mhm.
doesn't know the heart of it
Yeah.
behind it.
Well, again, it's going to. I'm sure like the first half of the season, like the 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 Rupert team will be, crushing it, and
But
then
Sure.
it's gonna be hard though for soccer because it's not like they're gonna meet multiple times in a year.
that's true.
Couple of times only
Yeah.
at most.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
see
maybe
how
they'll
it
lose
goes.
the first, they lose the second. So I'm excited. Jay, last thoughts
It's
about
so good though.
Ted Lasso season 2?
Well, I'm thinking that season 3 is gonna be tough because Nate has all their plays.
Mhm.
So they're either gonna come up with
That's true.
newer creative ones to overcome. And I think that's
That's a good.
gonna be something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's a
So
good plot line. I know we discussed a lot about Ted Lasso season 2, but believe you me, we left a lot on the bone. So if you have never seen Ted Lasso and if you've heard some of the spoilers in our deep dive,
yeah,
believe you
please,
me, there's
please.
still so many other cool things that you will be enjoying in the season. There's the, again, the art episode
Bye
with
bye
Beard
bye.
After Hours. There's
Mm,
the choreography of Bye Bye Bye. You see, it's alluded to a free kick killing a dog. There's so many very fun things about Ted Lasso season 2. We're looking forward to Ted Lasso season 3 and 4, because they're picked up for 3 and 4, 12 episodes each. As soon as we know when they start filming and we can expect the first few episodes, we'll be
On
definitely putting that in our deep dive and reacts
on that note, let's look at this
episode as
clip.
well. The
He's
other
connected to another
Apple
show.
Apple TV Plus.
Oh,
No
hey,
sound, bro. No
Tony.
sound.
Hello.
Oh
One more time.
crap!
One
Hold
more
on.
time. So speaking of Apple TV Plus series, uh
oh yeah.
Crap. There, wait. Here we go.
Go pick up.
This is a
Oh, hey, Tony.
Hello.
Hey, great news, man. I just wanted to tell you that Mythic Quest got picked up for 2 more seasons. That's 3 and 4.
Wow, that's wonderful. Congratulations. Yeah, great. What is that exactly?
He narrated for one
It's
episode.
it's a show
Diba,
on
Joe?
Apple TV Plus. You were in an episode in season 2. In fact, you got nominated for an Emmy.
Did I win?
No.
Well, you know, we didn't get into this business to win a bunch of Emmys, did we, Ron?
Rob. Yeah, it's Rob is my.
Perhaps I've already have 2 Emmys. I can't remember when I got those, a long time ago. Anyway, and 2 Oscars. Yeah, double whammy Oscar. Like the 2 new seasons of Mr. Quest.
Mythic Quest.
Mr. Quest.
Mystic.
Yeah. Not a big deal. Anyway, Tony, just wondering if maybe you might want
I'm
to.
sorry to interrupt. I'm getting another call from someone. I don't know who it is. Thank you, Ron, very much.
Oh, but just to
Ron.
clarify, my name is not Ron.
Right.
My name is Rob.
Hey, Jason.
What's shaking, T-Hops?
Hey, big congratulations on the big win.
Oh, boy. You're going to give me a big head, Tony.
When are you going to let me come on the show? Because I could be Keely's new boyfriend.
Oh, I'd love that. We definitely want to have you audition.
Oh my God. That was one of the best bits that I've ever seen too. That's super fun. It was really... Mystic Quest.
Oh god.
I missed.
Yeah, that's
We are okay. Our last bit. The main topic of discussion for this week is, golly, if you again, I put this on my Facebook timeline. But if I could marry a movie, I would marry this one. We're talking about the Dune 2021 film directed by Denis Villeneuve of our rival Sicario fame. Stars Timothée Chalamet.
okay.
He actually said it's
Timothée.
Timothy, but Timothy.
No, he said it's
Chalamet.
supposed to be Timothy, but it's okay. He
No.
doesn't care.
Yeah, his dad
Yeah.
Because
is
he's French.
That's
so
why
it's
it's
Timothy.
Timothée. But he's in America, so it's like no, it's like when he was introduced with the variety kind of video that I saw, it was just like it's Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, not Zendaya, Zendaya. So it's Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson from Mission Impossible, Greatest Showman, Oscar Isaac, of course. Who can forget about Poe in Star Wars, the new trilogy, but also inside Llewyn Davis and many others. Deus Ex Machina. He's just like a wonderful actor. We got Josh Brolin, Thanos himself, Stellan Skarsgård. Stellan Skarsgård is the dad of the Skarsgård. He's the one in Thor, right?
Yes. I'm not sure if he's the dad, but he's
I think
the
he's
one
the
in Thor.
dad. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Um,
always thought that Robbie Amell was Ethan's brother, but they're cousins.
Because
So
well, so we have Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Zendaya, a whole lot more. Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem. So this is a murderous row of actors and actresses. Before I run through some of the plot and stats, did we want to share this movie or share our initial thoughts?
oh no, let's look at this clip.
Timothy.
Let's run this
And
clip first.
Because your dad's French, are you really Timothée?
It's supposed to be Timothée.
Je présente Timothée
Chalamet.
My name is Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy.
Timothy.
Chalamet. It's supposed to be Timothée. Timothée Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothy. It's pronounced Timothy.
It's whatever you like.
He's just
Same, bro. Same. Initial thoughts, like quick 1 minute thoughts, knee-jerk
Oof.
reaction right after you watch Dune before we run through the actual stats and deep dive of what we've absorbed from this magical movie. Let's go with Jay.
For a 2-hour plus movie, I felt it was short.
Ah,
Rarely would I enjoy it. I mean, anything that goes beyond the 2-hour mark better be epic, or it's gonna just waste time. But here, the 2-hour plus was still not enough because leaves you wanting more. So, I don't know. When is Dune 2 coming out? 2020.
2023.
2023, October 2023.
Probably 24 if
Uh,
they get delayed, which I'm not
yeah.
gonna be betting against.
Take
Take all the time.
that you want. Take
My
all the
daughter is
time.
pissed
Chubax.
though. I love it. My God, this movie, it's so epic. I love the subtleties. I love the scenes. So we'll get into everything, but I love it. I love it.
Same
And
with
you?
me. I said I'd marry the movie maybe 30 minutes into the movie. It's just beautiful. Acting, visuals, sound, Hans Zimmer. Come on. Um, and we'll get into the translation of the book to the movie, but that's one of those things that was a barrier for me, or my worries. I was always going to watch this. I was always going to love it because anything that Villeneuve does, I really like visually. So
Mhm.
even if the story falters or if it's not for me, I get a lot of satisfaction watching his movies and copying his style. But this one, everything fell into place. So a bit of stats before we dive into the actual movie. It was released very early, September 3rd, 2021, was when the movie was released internationally, starting with Venice. So that's kind of the one of those things where when it came out and the reviews started coming in, I started getting nervous because the initial reviews were, this might be hard for non-fans. It's
There's a
weird
lot of
because
terms. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of houses, but the main thing that kind of blew my mind in the initial reviews that I saw was people or the reviewers were afraid that the viewers might think this is a watered down Game of Thrones because it has the warring houses. It had the watered down kind of like Wheel of Time because of the set pieces of different races fighting. There's the Messiah, the whatever, and then people forget like it's not the watered down. These Game of Thrones copied from Dune. It's a watered down
Original.
Star
It's the
Wars,
original.
right? This is the original Star Wars. This is the original Game of Thrones. But that's why I was very scared because I didn't want. I was thinking about that too, like how will it translate? But luckily, it was done very masterfully. Uh, so Denis Villeneuve worked with his longtime partner Grieg Fraser in terms of cinematography. Uh, and as mentioned, music by Hans Zimmer. A lot of like bomb. It's a little Tenant-ish, but it works here, so I really like it. Official release date was October 22nd, both on HBO Max and in the theaters. I saw it. I really regret not watching it on IMAX, but I watch it at home.
Oh,
Chubax, where do you watch it? At home
at home,
by
TV,
HBO
Apple
Max too?
TV, HBO Max
Mhm.
on the TV.
Uh, RJ, how did you watch yours?
At home, HBO Max.
There you go. The runtime of the movie is 156 minutes. So this is through
Two
2.5 hours,
hours,
a little bit
30
more.
something.
Okay.
Hmm.
Right. So again, like what RJ just mentioned, typically if you're gonna pass the 2 hour mark, it needs to be an epic. And
Yeah.
this was it. The budget of $165 million, which is I'm very
Not
surprised
a
with.
lot.
I thought it not a lot, but if you really look at it, this is just very very tastefully done set pieces. Like it's the desert, it's some island with water and mountains, and all the things were very simplistically done, and that's why I really think that this was well managed, very
And lots
efficient
of
because it does
practical,
look.
lots of
Yep.
practical effects, which
And
I hope is
as of
making a
this
comeback.
yeah. And as of this recording, we are at $236.1 million in box office returns, which is great. It's the typical ratio is your box office to be considered good or break even is 3 times your budget. So we're closing to twice the budget. So hopefully, maybe in another couple of weeks, they'll triple that and it'll be good.
And you have
And
to factor in the HBO Max too.
exactly. So
Yes.
it's not totally like, again, it's also the pandemic, so there might be some adjustments there. So the
But
idea is this is Dune 2021.
as long as they gave the go ahead for the two, which we did get, so I'm happy.
Hmm.
Very,
Cool.
very happy.
Uh Plot wise, I'm gonna try to put the plot in very, very simplistic terms. And this is no spoilers yet, so we can provide people with even more reason to try to watch this. And if you can watch this safely in the theater, do so. But if not, just like enjoy it at home, turn the lights off, hide your phone for 2.5 hours. You won't miss it anyway. So Simple plot is there is a country or there's a planet called Arrakis. Arrakis produces this product called spice. In this universe, and there's plenty of books around here that I do not know of, but the idea in this universe, spice is the most important product in the entire universe because it is the key for navigators to do inter or faster than light or interstellar travel. So the spice is kind of what they take. They can become computers, calculate certain things, so they can travel intergalactically. So that's why it's very, very important for for this particular universe, for this ingredient. Spice is being harvested by a family called the Harkonnens, which weird because when I tried to read the book, I always said Harkonnen, so I was really wrong. So the Harkonnen family, let's just keep it at that, has been mining the spice from Arrakis for a very, very long time. What happened there is because they've been mining spice for a very, very long time, they have garnered a lot of wealth, a lot of power, enough power to rival the emperor. So what the emperor did was assign another strong family that is also trying to rival the power of the emperor, the Atreides family, in a planet called Caladan, to take over mining spice in Arrakis, right? And the idea there was that turnover will not be pretty. Both houses, Harkonnen and Atreides, will be having a lot of conflict about turning this over. Harkonnen wouldn't want to leave. Atreides would really, really want to succeed in mining spice so they can gain power themselves. So that was kind of like the main crux of this issue. The other wrinkle here is the planet Arrakis is already inhabited by cool people called the Fremen. And the Fremen had evolved so that they could live in this very, very dangerous, desolate desert planet with giant worms eating everything that walks on the surface. So it's a very dangerous planet. So that's the other factor in this kind of like conflict between the Emperor, Harkonnens, and Atreides. So that's the main crux. I'm gonna stop there because anything beyond that is a little bit of a spoiler territory. But we'll start our discussion there. Chubax, you've known of this IP more than any of us because you've probably touched on the books a little bit
No,
more
I
than we
didn't
have.
actually. I didn't actually read it. But okay, go ahead.
No, but yeah, again,
no,
like tell
'cause,
us your
wha-
take and when you do touch onto some spoiler territory, let's make sure that we warn the viewers and listeners.
the reason I know this IP is because Sci-Fi came out with a short limited series. So that's most of what I know. So I read some of the wikis and stuff about the books, but the miniseries is where my knowledge most is from. So I liked it, but the problem is going forward. Like the future books aren't as popular as this one, so
Yep.
it doesn't hold up as much as the first one. But this one is really good, and the oh well, we're gonna go plot wise right later. So yeah, for this one, it's just yeah, that's basically it. The Harkonnens versus the Emperor versus the Atreides. But then you sprinkle in the Fremen's there, the Bene Gesserit.
Bene Gesserit, yeah.
Yeah, so I think about the Bene Gesserit as like the Jedi Order, like their own entity with
Their
their own
own,
agenda.
yeah.
And well, this is not is this spoiler? Well, it can be spoiler, but one of the main crux also with Paul, aside from the warring houses, is the Bene Gesserit have their chosen one prophecy. They're trying to breed him, and
Yeah.
then the Fremen have their own prophecy about Muad'Dib or what's that? Lisan Al Gaib.
Al Gaib. Lisan Al
or
Gaib.
they're gonna call it Muad'Dib. So they have that prophecy, and then we're gonna see how it plays together, and it's just so cool how they did it. I saw you should watch it. There's a video like it's 15 to 20 minute video of I think what it was Variety, who talked to Denis Villeneuve about how he made the Tom Jabbar scene. It's so good. How he talks about that scene, how he did the lighting, the casting. It's one of the first scenes he made for the movie, and he said that after shooting after shooting or in the middle of shooting that scene, it's the first time he like exhaled some a breath of relief because he felt he was rewarded that I have the right cast with the Paul with Rebecca when they did that scene. So it's amazing, and the funny thing is that Timothy's really scared of Charlotte Rampling, the mother, the Bene Gesserit
No,
mother.
The grandmother.
Yeah. So she, like in real life, he's really intimidated by her. So that was like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought that was just in the movie.
But yeah, because I think one of the tidbits there is like I read in the wiki that they were trying to breed the terms are so what were they saying the term for him, the
Listen, Algabe.
no, the other one,
Fuck,
Quasi Haderach, something like that.
Haderach. Yeah.
Yeah, the Quizat Haderach.
Quizat Haderach.
Yeah.
Quizats Haderach.
Because from my understanding, there is they're trying to breed a person that has all the knowledge of the past and can see the future. I think something like that. The problem is they were breeding only female, right? So the female
Yes.
only has the XX chromosome. So all the knowledge that they have is from the X chromosome only. So that's why they're trying to make a male one because the
Male.
male has the X and the Y. So it can his knowledge will go more complete. So something like
Okay.
that. So I think the sci-fi series was like 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, and then there was the sequel. They also did Children of Doom, starring McAvoy as the Leto the second.
Oh, nice.
Son of Paul.
Yeah, I've never again once we go through a little bit more details in the story, there's the thing where I am very, very cautious that well, like what you mentioned, the more things coming out from one IP, the more diluted things become. Like, Dune is great. The first book is great. Maybe there's a couple of more books that are amazingly written, but there's so many weird stuff also that I've in researching today's episode, it's like, wait, they bred with the worm. How do you breed
It
with a
gets
fucking
crazy.
worm? Yeah, so it gets crazy, but
DNA.
but the idea of Denis Villeneuve, just him saying like, I've always wanted 3 movies for either the first book or the first book plus a few things makes sense. So it's very, very contained. And then coming back to the reason why I did not read the books, because I tried to, like the first maybe 120 pages, but I just couldn't grasp how the houses work, and there's details about
a lot of terms.
a lot of terms, a lot of people, because like what you mentioned, like in House Atreides, Leto was the main leader, the one that the Duke that will be taking over Arrakis. Jessica, Paul's mom, we always assumed that he was a wife, but no, just a concubine. Right? And she is a Bene Gesserit, these witches that have powers and shit. And he's
The
been
Jedi
teaching
Order.
Paul about these things. But he's also being trained by cool people like Duncan Idaho and Gurney Halleck. So it's like there's so many things that you wanna you do this, and then there's also like touches of the reason why and I didn't notice this until I read up after I watched it the second time. There's no computers in the film.
AI has been
nothing.
outlawed, I think.
Yeah. So because in one of the books there was a jihad against advanced robotics that ended up making that that's why spice is even more important, because like it's the tool that makes certain susceptible people like mentats to become doctors like Dr. Yue. They're one of the main military leaders there, like Tufir Hawat. Like, when there was a very little subtle sign when there was like, how did they
Calculating.
cost them? How much did it cost for these people to come to our planet and then announce this turnover? It's like his eyes rolled up, started some calculations, and that's it. So that was
super
cool.
fast. Yeah.
I'm glad that Denis has that taste in knowing what to cut, because in the first 2 minutes in the intro sequence, I understood Dune in 2 minutes rather than the 120 pages that I've read like 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Because like Arrakis, Spice, Harkonnen, Atreides, Duke Leto. Duke Leto's son is Paul. Paul is son of Jessica, that might be like, the upcoming Messiah, yada yada yada. So that was when I breathe a sigh of relief, was when, okay, Denis is picking and choosing the best bits that make sense for a good movie. He's not stretching it into 10 movies. He's not stretching it into 5 movies. I just want 3 movies that make sense, because you can't put Dune in one movie. It's too much. I'm glad that he's not stretching it out. But let's move to you, Jay. Like, initial thoughts, things that you want to start with in terms of us discussing the plot of Dune.
I like how clean the movie is. It's every shot was well thought of. It really puts emphasis on the emotions of the characters, and I like how they built it. Like, he was still learning how to use the voice, and how seemingly weak, and he's really not the one that they were looking for, and yet later on, somewhat he proved them wrong. At least that's what I'm trying to get at. And
You don't know yet.
Or we don't know yet. That's true. It's true. And it's very interesting how they do their hand gestures
Oh, that's
in
perfect.
like 2 seconds.
We're gonna do that for
And-
D&D.
Yeah.
we gotta come up with signs ourselves. I mean, it's just pretty awesome. Yeah,
So
the star-studded cast. It's just how can you complain?
so working, so now we've put out the base of what Dune is. It's one of those movies that it's an experience to watch. So go watch it. If you want to watch it with no additional spoilers, you can skip towards the end. But from this point on, we're going to analyze a little bit more the actual themes of the movie and what makes it so beautiful and what makes it so complex. So again, spoiler alert. From now on, we're just going to talk about either bits and pieces of the movie that will tell of the ending, but also the little bits and pieces that we know of the books from wikis and from listening to other podcasts. So the complexity that happens here, or the reason why I think Dune 2021 is such a masterful movie, because it has the best elements of Game of Thrones, which are the warring houses, elegantly done. So there is both the top level war of actual arms, but there's also the subversive war of politics, and even within the families inside, the politics within families themselves, there's also some light and dark portions of it that is very, very kind of very entertaining. Even like, just look at how interesting House Atreides was built. Like, it's perfectly cast that or Oscar Isaac is perfectly cast as Duke Leto Atreides, because he is this benevolent leader that is stern but loving. He has that line where, when Paul was starting to feel the pressure of him being the leader, right? Not only does he have the mom's powers of the witches from the Bene Gesserit, but the lineage of being the son of Duke Leto. Like, even with all of that pressure, even if if I was the king, I need to have my son ready. He was able to say, or he did say one of my most favorite lines in the movie, like, you're not called to be, yeah, nobody wants to be a leader. You are called and you answer the call. And if you don't want that call, if you don't want to answer that call, you're still everything that I want you to be, which is my son. So that is how you raise a proper person. And that's what, the thing about the books, from what I've read, and this is secondhand knowledge too, is like, the thing about the books in terms of Paul is like, it's somewhat confusing how Paul is this, like, the one, the matrix, the Neo of everything, right? Because it might not have been fleshed out. How can he be worthy of such power or such control? But in this movie, you see him have a great relationship with his dad. Not perfect, but it's great. Have a great relationship with the mom, great loving, but also stern relationship with the mom. You have this wonderful relationship with Duncan Idaho, which I don't understand. Are they uncles, or it's just because like he's son of the Duke? That's why he has
It's more like a
access to
big
these
brother, I
amazing
think.
trainer. But again, that's the kind of like a big brother. I'm again, I don't know if they have lineage, but in my head, oh, I'm the son of the president. Of course, I have the coolest guards, right?
Yeah.
The best guards.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
have Duncan Idaho, this big brother type that doesn't care that he is the Duke's son, but they're just, again, big brothers. But you also have Gurney Halleck, like this stern, loving protector that he has with Paul. Even to fear Hawat, that semi-general person, has a great relationship with him. So everybody is showing that Paul is not a douche. Like, he's not this spoiled brat, son of a duke and a witch, that he spoon fed everything. Like, he is his own person. He has his own relationships, and even whether he is the duke's son or just some random person, he was able to build these very, very tight, genuine relationships with multiple people, so that you can really see, like, all right, you've got what it takes. Like, you're not a douche. I'm gonna follow you wherever you are. So that was fine. Um, Thoughts on the Atreides family, things that you guys picked up, might be things that I've missed in terms of why this family was chosen to be the next barons of Arrakis, replacing the Harkonnens.
Well, for me, the way I like the director did it was that he made it complex yet simple. So you were able to see all the houses, but he didn't spend too much time in each house. You don't even see the emperor. You just see his soldiers.
No, 100%.
So you just that's how I think for a TV show. Then yeah, you can spend time with the other houses, but for a movie, you have to be tight. So they explain that there's these houses fighting, but let's focus on this and how it affects these people. That trading.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, so Harkonnen was getting too powerful because they were too rich, and Atreides was getting too powerful because they were well liked, and there were people were following them. So the Emperor, I guess my only critique was not of the movie, but like the story wise was how Leto got himself in a lose situation.
Yep.
I guess he couldn't.
He had his
deny.
plans.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but it just wasn't. It wasn't in time. The desert power wasn't in. He knew what was happening. He just didn't have enough time. I guess
That was a super great call. Like, speaking of the House of Atreides, is that you've become the superpower because of your connections and your patience and your genuine or authenticity, but you're gonna get got. That you're gonna come into. I actually thought that he would be a little bit more prepared than what he would have done.
Yes, that's my only critique. To like, there was no way that invasion was too fast for one person to be able to shut down everything without
We'll get to that, and that's the other. I think if I had one complaint, that was just one. But let's go through different houses. Like Jay, about like House Atreides, House Harkonnen. Things that you've
Love it.
noticed
Harkonnen.
or thought of when we are introduced with these two dichotomous families. One, again, like what you mentioned, one liked, one more of love and light, and the other one is the dark side, gluttony, power, and I know it's kind of like tropey, but it is kind of like you show people, you show audience the ways that you can become a superpower is just either of these two. Like use people's
power.
hearts or
Mm.
use or intimidate them.
That's true. That's true. House Atreides. I'm wondering if there are other sons of the Baron of, because it seems like he's the son from a concubine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paul. Yeah.
And he was saying that, Paul, right? So he was saying like the dad said to his mom, like, I wish I wish
should have married you.
it was you, that I should have married you instead. So I'm wondering if he also has other.
No, I think they were in love. It's just political that they couldn't get married.
They're gonna get married because Ben and Gesserits, I don't think can get married. They just breed again for actual.
That's
they
right.
breed.
They
do not. They do not procreate. They breed. So that was a good bit. Something that I wish that they touched upon a little bit. It was a little too quick when
true.
When Jessica mentioned that the Ben and Gesserits have been breeding for thousands of years to produce that one person.
I think the last time, well, the thing is, I'm not really familiar with the lore or the families. The last Dune I watched was when was that? The 80s or 90s
84, I
movie?
think. 84, I
When
think
was
was
that?
the 84, I think.
I
So
think
for
that
your
was
reference, this was the sci-fi
was the-
series.
Okay,
This is Harkonnen. I'm not putting the sound just so you can see how different the versions of Denis. So that's Baron Harkonnen, the fat guy. He's sitting on something that makes him float.
Yeah, because he's so fat.
Yeah.
No,
So that's Harkonnen. And this is the main character that wasn't in the movie yet. He's coming in part 2 is the paid, I forgot his name, but he was played by Sting in the original one.
Yes,
That guy.
Sting,
So he's
correct.
like the Paul of the Harkonnens. He's like the badass. So we can everybody's waiting to see who's gonna be cast as.
That's that.
So everything
That's
is
true.
just so gaudy.
Harry Styles.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
that's-
but okay,
that's Harkonnen.
we're judging it right now. It's gaudy, sure, but back then,
No, I
that
mean
was
I
like,
enjoyed the show.
whoa.
The series was
Yeah.
good.
This movie is and the books is the success of it, and the reason why so many other spin-offs or so many other IPs kind of took bits and pieces of this movie, because it has pretty much everything. So again, you have warring houses, you have politics for through arms, and you have politics through strategic partnership. So the Harkonnens, having harvested spice for so long, accrued so much resources that they can just like pretty much buy pretty much anything that they want. While the Atreides, being like, they are very confident in making partnerships or making alliances with different groups of people. And in this particular case, Duke Leto's main gambit was to use the Fremen, the people that are in Arrakis, as allies, right? So like, we just want to take enough spice for the Empire, and then we'll leave you be, but you'll need to help us fight against certain oppressors that are trying to get Arrakis back. So that's the other thing. So that politics and that overlining thread or through line of imperialism is there. Look at these colonizers coming into a country, raping its resources, and not even helping out the people at all. So that's one method. Like, of course, the Fremen is symbolizing the indigenous people of every other colonized country that we've ran into. So that is a good thought, a good emotional tie in terms of why this is such an engaging story to start. It's complicated, it's messy. It's kind of, in the end, it's also kind of stupid because these two giant houses with militaries and generals and witches and all of that, um, being puppeted by an emperor is not even shown in this particular movie. So that's another kind of thing. It's like there's another level of power that we have yet to um experience. Plus, there's the Arrakis itself, the planet itself, and the giant worms that make it so dangerous. So it's kind of one of those stories where, high risk, high reward. If it were easy to get, and then everybody would have been rich. But these giant sandworms that are eating everything that is on the surface is both the protector of the spice but also the generator of said spice. So that was kind of cool too. And the last through layer, and I think the few things that we need to spend a little bit time about is the religion aspect, like religion being used as a tool to co-opt people. So the Bene Gesserit, like what Chubax has mentioned, is waiting for the one, their Kwisatz Haderach. And then they've been breeding to be able to provide that one. I think it's more of the seeing the future power is going to be an amazing tool, and we see that bits and pieces throughout the movie, which is I'll save as not a spoiler because it's super cool how this movie subverts your expectations in the fact that you think there are future things, like you think there are visions, and they are, but we're so used to seeing visions that never change. Like when you see the future, you're going to experience the future. This one, the visions are of the future, but interpreted properly, you can change the future to your advantage. So that was something that I was very, very surprised about the movie. But, the Bene Gesserit kept on saying that, all right, we've laid the foundation. We've spread the rumors of the Messiah. In Arrakis, it's they call it the Lisan Al Gaib, the mother and son Messiah from the stars that will liberate them from this pain and stuff like that. So that's the third level of tool for influence and for power over people is religion, or you can switch religion through superstition, through magic, through mysticism. So
we're in
you have
spoilers,
all of
right?
that.
So
Spoiler time. So,
so
Chubax,
just
next.
for that, some from having seen reading some stuff and seeing the limited series, Paul will try to use the Fremen
Yep.
by um trying to be, well, more like pretending to be Muad'Dib. So he's like he's gonna be trying to make himself more their one so he can use them. But in the end, it kind of they used each other, because after that, it's gonna usher like he's gonna unleash the holy war. Like the Fremen are just gonna start killing all over the galaxy, and it's because he was the one that enabled it. So it's like that's with the religion, like using it. He ended up getting used as well.
Yeah, and that's where the movie ends with. Well, of course, we'll spoil it. We'll swing by. The one major horrible thing in the movie is, like what you mentioned. One person was able to turn off all the shields of the most important port in the
Not just
entire
the shield,
universe.
the radio, the communication.
The communication.
Yeah.
One person. So I wish they workshop that a little bit more, right? Workshop that a
Probably
little bit.
from
But
the book.
in the end, the Harkonnens were able to retake the Arrakis, so they were able to decimate House Atreides, and it was the Emperor too who kind of helped out Harkonnen, alluding to the Harkonnens and the Emperor making a deal. So maybe the Harkonnens telling the Emperor, "Yeah, yo, we're not gonna come after your shit. You're still the Emperor. Just make sure that nobody comes after us. We'll be happy to be number two or something." A deal has been done. So instead of a three-way fight, two people like the Emperor and the Harkonnen essentially eliminated the next viable superpower that can attack them.
Even in the beginning, when Atreides was tasked by the Emperor to take over the spice, they already knew, oh man, this is gonna really put us in a bad situation. But instead, and they knew it was signing to their death. But if they rejected right there, it means they're going against the Emperor, and they're not strong enough yet to go against him. If they sign there, they knew that they will also be attacked by other houses because everyone wants that trade.
I think the problem
Not to
was,
mention,
like we said a while ago, Leto knew what was happening. I think he just underestimated how fast or if the deal between the Emperor and the Harkonnens took him by surprise, or how fast it happened.
Because he wanted to.
I think he was pining on the three-way tie.
The three-way tie, yeah.
So that's what he was like. Okay, while these three are in a stalemate, if I can get the Fremen, I'm gonna come out on top. But the two aligned too fast, took him over.
I don't think he ever thought that the Emperor would take a side.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's.
I can't wait for you to see the ending. It's gonna be so amazing.
Yeah, it's
you haven't met the Emperor yet. Yeah,
I see. That's the thing too. Is like I'm excited about the Emperor. I'm excited about because again, if people who saw the trailer expecting a lot of Zendaya, they're gonna be terribly disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not in the first movie.
Yeah, and exactly. But the thing is, like, Denis Villeneuve made Dune 1, not having Dune 2 and Dune 3 greenlit.
Yeah.
So what if this did not go well? Then it would have been just like literally half a movie. It was long, but it's a half a movie. It's still not complete. So, again, you cannot understate the beauty of the acting and all of the, how they've treated the different locations of Arrakis, Atreides, and the ships inside the ships. How they, character design was super cool, and even just like the
what did they call their ships? The Thopters,
Ornithopter,
Orny.
Yeah. Ornithopter, the ones that are
I think because
dragonflies.
Dragonflies.
Grasshopper, or
scientific name is something like that, right?
Yeah, it's super cool. And we even forgot to mention. So this was set in 1100 something. So this is essentially our world 10,000 years from now. So that's what it's cool. So it's this is not like a far-fetched world. This is just we've evolved to a place where we have mentats we don't need machines to look into people because we have mentats. We have actual magic, which they kind of explain through proper tone, like proper wavelength, and then personal shields. And I like the fact that they went so far into the future that they actually went back to the past. Like, we have personal shields now, so guns don't work. Go back to the fucking sword, the slow blade, because that's the only way that you can pierce through a personal shield, is to slowly walk through it rather than just like aggressive. So
instantly hit it.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well, we also want to leave a bunch of meat on the bone for the people that are going to watch it. Any other thoughts or final thoughts from Jay or Chubax?
It was just cool. I love it. Isabella was just really disappointed that Jason Momoa shaved his beard. She would not.
He had
shut up
layers
about
too,
it.
right?
She was just so pissed about why did he shave And of course, yeah. So that was one of the major takeaways. But yeah, can't wait for the sequel. It's gonna be tight. A lot of shit's gonna be happening. It's more probably gonna be more fighting and more action. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jong. In the visions that Paul had, James was teaching
Mm-hmm.
him shit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
So
Yeah.
that's
that's
something
why I
that
was
I had
surprised.
to go to different YouTube channels for, but that's the artful way of them using, because here's what we've been accustomed to when seeing the future. In the movies where we see the future, or in the books that the future is told, it's always been like you're seeing the future and it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always never been able to change it because that's why it's become a vision. Here, what happened was let Paul saw a future where he befriended the initial person that was very, very mad at him, getting to the Freeman Sieges or the Freeman place. They became best friends and taught him how to get there, taught him the way, taught him how to fight. Um, the actual visions of him dying is actually the vision of Jameis, the one that he fought against. So he kind of seeing that, he kind of got a cheat code on what to do so that he won't be that, right? That's why the vision was true, but the future was changed because he saw the vision.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
that's what I think. That's
I love
what's
I love how that scene. I love Javier Bardem's like after Paul was just like always getting into the killing
is he
position.
playing
Is
with
he
him?
toying with him?
Mhm. Is he
No,
toying with him?
Paul's never. But I love Rebecca Ferguson. She took me by
Oh my
surprise
god.
in this one. She was so amazing.
Mm.
Everything
Mm.
you could see there's tension between him and Paul, and then the fight scenes. The voice was so well used. I
Mm.
love also the writing with Zendaya's Chan is like
Shani.
James is a good
Like
fighter. You'll die. You won't feel much pain.
you won't suffer. You won't
You
you
won't
won't
suffer.
suffer.
Here's a knife. You'll die honorably. Just assuming that it's gonna go his
That
way.
he's gonna die. Yeah.
Mm. We can
Yeah.
end with that's a good thought. Let's end with either favorite characters or favorite moments in the movie so that people can have something to look forward to when they watch it. Jay?
Favorite character. I would have to say who I connected with a lot is the dad.
Leto.
I love how he raised his son, and I was surprised to know that he was actually an illegitimate son, and he loved him that much. That like he's the dad that I wish many people had. Basically, yun lang. Chewie was right. He just got caught off guard.
Or
Chubax?
he just ran out of time. He was just
Oh,
there was
yeah,
not much he
ran
could
out
do.
of time. That's true. That's right.
For
That's right.
for me, I love Paul. The actor just
Mm.
the his look with the hair and it just drew me the everything. I loved how nice he was, empathetic, smart. He was studying, studying the
Mhm.
Fremen and
Mhm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Practicing.
All the voice stuff was amazing. The Bene Gesserit was good. I love the still suits.
Still suits.
That always made sense to me. Like if you're gonna survive in this place, they had to come up with something that would absorb all kinds of water from your body and you
Moisture,
just drink it
sweat,
again.
blood, tears.
Yeah, and I love all the slight scenes of uh I know who you are. I know your face with Paul with from the Fremens. Like,
Mhm.
Hmm.
how did you? Did somebody wear your put this still suit on you? No, I did it myself. Seemed right the right way. He will come from the stars. It's so good. And
Mhm.
then
Like prophecy naman.
Mhm.
yeah, the mom was amazing. All the fight scenes, Duncan, Gurney, uh, the set design,
Oh my
the
god.
item. It's so good. My daughter Isabella, she's watching behind the scenes with me from on YouTube. She's that
Oh.
taken in by it. It's her favorite thing now. For everything, she forced her grandma to watch it with him. Her Lola here to watch it with her. That bad. So her iPad's Dune wallpapers Dune, and yeah, Lucas is a little too scared from the with the dark stuff, the Harkonnen stuff and stuff.
Mhm.
But everything else, I love. I can't wait for the second. But it's for me. It's like getting older. I try to keep my expectations low. So if I'm gonna get the second movie of this, so I'm happy. I don't care if there's a third or after. Just like with me and Jong saying about Wheel of Time. If they give me maybe 2, 3 seasons of accurate, good story, good action, good effects, I'm happy. I don't care if it goes down burning.
Mhm.
As long as I get I get some, I'm happy. Cause
If I
just
see Rosamund Pike for 2 hours, I'm good.
just amen. I mean, the trailers. I mean, growing up, I think we never really appreciated trailers as much, but because of
Mm.
YouTube, like, it's an event by itself. Like the Avengers trailers dropping. You don't appreciate that, but that's like the anticipation of it and watching it. It's also a big fun, big big ball of joy. So yeah, I highly suggest you guys watch it.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I yeah.
speaking of trailers, just to add, it just came back to me back in back in the days when we would all watch movies physically, whether it was
Thank
after school or it was during the weekend or a Friday night. Chubax would have his Snickers. We would all have our own snacks and drinks, and we would have our bets. What
Bets, which gotta
which
come down.
trailers are gonna come out just before the movie comes out, and we just counted. It was
Yeah.
just fun. You mentioned trailers, and I'm like, yeah, we've actually appreciated trailers
That is true.
even back then, but in a different manner. Yeah. Sorry, John.
No. It's like to close this all off. It's like my favorite person in the movie is Denis Villeneuve because
Hmm.
he was. I think like you need a visionary that is. You, you need to put everybody in the correct situation so that
Hmm.
they will maximize their talent. Like I'm not a big fan of Timothy Chalamet. Not a big fan of Zendaya. Coming out of the movie, I fucking love them both. Like in the movie, that their characters were well thought out.
Mhm.
Every supporting character had, every person that spoke in that movie had things to say to move forward not only the plot but the characters, build the characters. Like I said, Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, Gurney Halleck as um Josh Brolin as Curly Halleck, training Paul in actual physical arts and understanding the military politics. Rebecca Ferguson, like showing how she loves both Paul and Leto, like his quivering whenever when Paul was put to the test, his
Good dialogue.
shivering. Yeah, she was praying. You can really see like, oh fuck, yeah, yes, you might have just bred for the species, but that's still your son, and you still genuinely love him. And without that love, that son will not be able to grow to his potential. Um, like even just how like even Dave Batista just be like angry that we let the Harkonnen Baron was let this happen to them. It wasn't really pushed forward by the Harkonnens how militarily or politically savvy they are in this particular movie, but hopefully in the next ones, because I got a little bit of it, like when it's like when Dave Batista got, I was like, Uncle, why did you let this happen? It's like, chill, I'm not doing this for love, right? So it's like, you got the plan, okay, cool, all right. So every single person, and this is a very very big cast. We haven't even touched Dr. Kynes, the ecologist. We haven't even touched
Doctor Yue.
Stilgar, the leader of the Fremen chieftain. There's so
Mhm.
many characters here that it's any other movie would have failed, but this was 2.5 hours perfect, visually beautiful, visually engaging, couple of action set pieces that I figured I'm entertained. Even if I'm just opening my eyes, I'd be even more entertained if I pay attention on why they're doing certain aspects. So
And the best
if you
thing
have not
about
seen,
and the best thing about the best the best signifier that Denny is amazing is all the actors. wanted to work for him.
Exactly.
They all
They know that
wanted.
they're going to be there.
I've seen a lot of scenes. There's like, I just wanted to work with him. You know, aside from this being Dune, I wanted to see what he was gonna do. And I suggest the two of you watch the Gom Jabbar breakdown with him, because at the end he said, making this movie, cause he read this as a 14-year-old boy, and it's what his first love is the book. So he said at the end is that, making this movie, I'm not worried about what the audience, the worldwide audience is gonna think about it. I'm not worried about disappointing them. I'm worried about that 14-year-old boy. What would he think if he saw this movie? So that alone, like,
Yeah, it's exciting because I mean, even with Hans Zimmer, that's what the one cool article that I read was like, you know, this is Hans Zimmer. He doesn't do a lot of movies, right? It doesn't, or you know, he's already in the biggest blockbusters already. It's gonna be hard to
and
get him.
he skipped a movie, a big movie for this.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too.
I
Like
forgot what
everybody
movie.
knew that
It
he
was
was
a famous
booked.
movie. I think it Star Wars. No, it's like one of the big movies. He skipped it because he wanted to do Dune.
Yeah, and it was literally just an email of Denny. It's like, hey, would you like to do Dune? And he got back, sure. Like, yeah, I'll do Dune. He's like, and that's the thing. To Dune is a little bit beyond even our time. Like you and me, it's like it's a generation before us, the ones that actually read this when they were kids. So, um, one. I'm excited that a new generation of people will understand the source materials of um, all of our favorite franchises, like in Star
Oh,
Wars, Wheel of
Tenet.
Time.
He didn't do Tenet. It's Nolan's first.
Christopher Nolan.
He's been doing all of Nolan's movies since The Prestige,
Nolan's, yeah.
2006, except for so the first one is Tenet that he skipped.
Yeah, and this
Or-
sounds very Christopher Nolan, like.
Yeah.
I was like, well, again, we get so many fun things to discuss. Don't forget to comment on the video or leave a review on our podcast if you want to discuss further. But before we end this particular episode, Chubax, run us through our assignment next week.
Oh, so we got 3 movies, 2 on Netflix. So we're gonna go with the Green Knight, which has been critically acclaimed.
A24 movie with a guy from Slumdog Millionaire.
So and then we got Night Teeth from Netflix. It's a vampire movie about 2 vampires hiring some sort of like an Uber. Well, not Uber. It's more like
Collateral with vampire, right?
Yeah, so it's Tom Cruise
Yeah.
movie with vampire, driving them around while they're killing shit. And then we got Zack Snyder's Army of Thieves, which just came out on Netflix. So that's our homework for next week, and hope you join us.
Green Knight is the King Arthur Gawain.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Something
something
like
like
that,
that.
right?
I'm
Medieval.
excited to go to this.
It's more supernatural-ish, but
Yeah,
yeah. So we shall see.
I'm excited to deep dive.
I like that. Let's go. Let's do this.
Jay, final thoughts, goodbyes before we close the episode.
Yeah. Well, you've seen what we thought about Berserker, Ted Lasso season 2, and Dune. And if you ask me, I'd recommend all 3. How about you, Chubax? Would you?
Yes, definitely. All 3. Watch Dune first because that's experience, and then catch up on Ted Lasso, and then if you can find Berserk, it's on Kindle. If you don't have, you can find it on your local bookstore. So catch up, watch, join us.
How about you, John?
Yep. Again, these are 3 wonderful, very entertaining pieces of media that you can spend an afternoon or a week finishing at your own pace. So fill that up as an extra. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search +63HP in YouTube on that search bar. Hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we drop either this episode, our deep dive episodes, our D&D podcast, or our reacts episode as well. That comes out Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, respectively. Tweet at us at +63HP and listen to us at or on your favorite podcasting app that is available around the globe. We prefer Spotify and Apple Podcast. With that, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.